Hey guys, today I'm going to be showing you how to make this Goddess Lakshmi statue out of air dry clay in this easy to follow tutorial. I hope you enjoy!
So we're going to start off by rolling our clay into a short cylinder as our base. So for this one I'm going to be doing a seated pose for Goddess Lakshmi, but you can choose what you would like to do. We're going to make the petals of the lotus, so there's like an upper and a lower portion. We're doing the lower portion of the lotus flower that Goddess Lakshmi will be seated in. So we make all those petals and then we use our fingers to blend that into the cylinder base. So we're doing that all the way around the base. And then once we do that, we're going to use our slanted bladed tool to then carve in those extra little details on the petals. And we're going to do that for each of the petals. Once we do that, we're going to start on the legs. So I'm just shaping out the legs of the statue and then securing that into the wire piece as well. And we're going to blend that foot, that second foot, into the first leg, and then we're going to work on our torso. I'm adding some clay to the sides of the hips so that you can see the shape of the torso. And then we're also going to be working on the bust as well, so adding a little ball of clay for each of the busts. And then we're going to also add a bit of clay for the shoulders. And then just using our fingers to smooth that all into place. Next we're going to be working on the face. So this is the most detailed part, so you can really take your time here. I'm going to gently mark the area for the eyes, the nose and the mouth using a pointed tool, but if you don't have this tool, don't worry, you can just use a toothpick. So don't worry about perfection here. The goal is the expression, and I modify the face multiple times as I'm going through this project because it's the most detailed part and I want to make sure that I'm getting the expression right. So we're going to use that pointed tool for the nostrils as well, but we use this pointed tool for everything. We're just making the connection between the bottom of the nose and the lip, so that bit is a bit slanted, so we just, I don't know what that bit's called, but it's the bit of skin that's connecting the bottom of your nose to your cupid's bow. So we're just using that pointed tip to kind of sculpt out those lips. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect at the start, we can modify it as we're going, but then I'm going to also add some clay for the upper eyelids as well. I'm also making the forehead a little bit bigger, and using that bladed tool we're also going to draw on the crevice of the upper eyelid and then also carve out the eyebrow as well. Once you've done that, you can roll small pieces of clay into strands of hair or chunks of hair and then secure that onto the head so you can see more of the face shape. Once you've done that, you can use that pointed tool to draw out the iris into the eyeball. So this is a very rough look of the face, and then I'm going to use a wire to then push that into the neck. I'm just drawing out the waistline, and then I'm going to add some clay to the lower belly to give it more shape. I'm going to go ahead and add some more pieces of hair to the head and give it more of that shape that I want. I want it to look wavy and luscious, so I'm just building up the hair. Use as many strands of hair as you need, and I end up adding more anyways. So we're then going to add some clay, some flat pieces of clay onto the portion that the sari covers. So we're just securing that into place, and then using a slanted tool to then carve out the folds of the material, the folds of the sari. So we're also doing that to the leg pieces as well. So I'm just doing it lightly here so I can decide where I want the folds to be. And then once I'm confident with where all the lines are, then I can go in and deepen those folds into place. So these little additions definitely bring the sculpture to life. Also, don't worry if your clay is drying too fast. Always keep a small bowl of water nearby to keep it workable. So we're going to also work on the pot of gold, the pot of coins. We start off with a ball of clay, and then we're going to add a little ring at the top. Then we're going to scoop out a little bit at the top of the pot so that we can fill it in with the gold coins. We're then going to work on the arms. So this arm has the upright palm, which we're going to make here. I'm adding the thumb afterwards, and then I'm going to use that bladed tool to draw the lines of the palm. And then we're going to use the slit to secure that onto the arm. We're then going to do the other arm where the hand is going to be resting on the pot. So we're going to add that other palm, but the outer portion of the palm is going to be showing. So we're going to also do the detailing of the fingernails as well. And then we're going to use slip again to secure that onto the pot. And then we're going to go ahead and do some detailing to the pot. You can do whatever design you want. I've just decided to go with this design, but feel free to do whatever design you would like to do. And then we're also going to do a little bit of design on the rim of the pot. Next we're going to do the pleats in the middle of the sari at the bottom here. For any new pieces of clay that you're adding onto your project, always make sure that you're using slip to secure it, just for that extra security. We're adding some little clay beads for the bracelets. I already rolled out some little beads for my previous project, so I'm just using the remainder of those to do that for the wrists and also the base of the crown. Next we're going to be decorating the crown with little ornaments. You can do whatever design you want here as well. I've just done some little swirls and some little petal shapes, I guess. I don't really know what shape that is, but yes. And then I'm using the end of a paintbrush to kind of give those little ornaments a bit of shape. We're then going to go with the necklace, and then using the tip of our pen to give a little design there. So I forgot to do the upper petals of the lotus, but essentially it's the same shape, but we're just securing it and curving the tips outwards. For the pieces that are touching the arm, make sure to use a little bit of extra clay and some slip to secure it so that it's all secured onto the Goddess Lakshmi statue. And then we're going to use that bladed tool again to do a little bit of the details for the outer petals. Okay, this part is not part of the crown, it's just a bit of extra detailing. So I'm going to roll little balls of clay, put it in this horseshoe shaped clay, and then I'm adding a little bit of detailing, but this is going to go around the head at the back. It's just a bit of, it's a little background, I guess, essentially. And yeah, I just think it looks beautiful. So there you go. Sometimes I make these bigger. I decided to go for a little one today. But yeah, feel free to have fun with that. I'm then going to go with thick wire for the 2 extra set of arms. And these arms have clenched fists on the end of them. So I'm going to just make little clenched fists for the ends. And I'm going to secure that onto the ends of the arms. And these clenched fists are going to be holding little lotus flowers, which we'll make at the end of this video. A little tip that I have is I also use the end of a pen to draw in the fingernails. I find that it's actually the easiest way to do little fingernails, so that's a little trick for you. Also going ahead with those pre-made beads of clay, I guess, do the bracelets for these 2 extra arms as well. I'm going ahead with a dry brush to kind of smooth out certain areas of the face. I'm also trying to make these lips a little bit more smiley. So I'm going ahead and drawing the smile lines here. And I'm going to add a little bit of clay to the upper cheek so it makes this Goddess Lakshmi statue look like she's smiling. I should have done that originally, but this is my attempt at trying to turn a frown upside down here. So yeah, don't worry, I know it's looking a bit crazy, but I ended up sanding it down so it looks a bit more acceptable. And yeah, so it's looking a little bit better now. I also wasn't too happy with the nose shape. I felt like it was a bit too narrow, so I've just gone ahead and added tiny little balls of clay and then just used water to kind of secure that into place. So I just added a bit more clay on the tip of the nose so that, yeah, I just felt like that gave the nose a bit of a better shape. Okay, now we're going to make the gold coins that are going to go in the pot. This was super fun. So I just made little balls of clay and then flattened them out so they look like coins. I waited for them to fully dry and then I painted them gold, and then you can place them into the pot and then also spilling out of the pot as well. Once everything's all dried, you can put little drops of super glue into the pot and onto the spilling coins as well, so that it's all secure into place. We also painted the bracelet, the necklace and the base of the crown as well in gold, just to bring those little ornaments, make them a bit more prominent. We're going to go ahead and make the little lotus flowers that are going to go into the clenched fists. Once the whole project's dry, then you can super glue them onto the clenched fists. So we're just going to make a little cone shape, and then we're going to add petals, like mini petals, and we're going to make 2 of these lotus flowers and then put them into the clenched fists. Once your piece is fully dried, make sure to wait 3 to 4 days for the whole piece to dry. Then you can go ahead and gloss it for that final finish. So this is what our Goddess Lakshmi statue looks like. And if you did like it, please like, share and subscribe for more clay tutorials. Thank you so much for the suggestions and please keep them coming in. Please do send in any suggestions and I will make a tutorial for it. Thank you so much and have a lovely day.